So I'm going to do some addition in different number bases. So first of all, we've got some binary. So remember, if we're in binary, we can only have zeros and ones. Can't go higher than that. So let's just do 1 add 1. Now 1 add 1 is 2, which means that it knocks over to the next column with nothing left. So we want a 2. This is the 2's column. And now we've got 1 add 1 of the 2's. So that gives us 2 2's. So that means a 4. So we need a 1 in the 4's column. So we've got nothing left here, and we've got 1 in the 4's column. And then we've got 1 add 1 4's. So 1 add 1 is 2. So that's 2 4's. So that would be 8. So that would go into the next column. And then we've got 1 add 1, which is 3, which so that's 3 8s essentially, but it's like 3 is 2 add 1. So I'm going to put a 1 here and the 2 goes in there. So the answer base 2 is this. Okay. So it's possibly easier just thinking 2 every time. So 1 add 1 is 2, so I need to knock it into the next column because we're working base 2. And then we've got 1 add 1 is 2. I need to knock that into the next column because we're working base 2. 1 add 1 again is 2. 1 add 1 is 3, which is 2 plus 1. Okay. Let's have a look at a different number base. So we've got number base 7 this time. So first of all, we've got 5 add 3, which is 8, but we're working base 7. So that would be a 7 plus 1. And now I've got 1 add 6 add 1, which again is 8. So that means it's 7 plus 1. So I put a 7 here, a 7 in the next column, and this extra 1 down here. Now we've got 3 add 4 add 1, which yet again is 8. So it's 7 plus 1, so we carry there. 6 add 1 is 7. So that's nothing in this column, and 1 goes into the next column. So the next column every time was 7. Because we're working base 7. So even though this looks like binary, it's not. It's base 7. Okay, let's look at the last one. So we have got 8e base 16 and a5 base 16. So I'm going to just remind myself that a is 10. So just put a little note to myself, which means that e, so 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 is 14. Okay, so if I'm doing e plus 5, I'm doing 14 add 5, which is 19. So that would be a 16 plus 3. Now I've got 8 add 10 add 1. So that's 19 again. So that's 3. So it's a 16 plus a 3. So we get 133 base 16. Another way of doing it, if you find it confusing instead, is to convert it to decimal. So let's convert these numbers to decimal. So we've got 8 times 16 to the 1 plus e, which is 14, times 16 to the 0. That's our first number. And our next number is a, which is 10 times 16 to the 1 plus 5 times 16 to the 0. Okay, so that is equivalent to, let's do 8 times 16. Okay, so that is 128 plus 14, it's 142. Okay, and then we've got 10 times 16, which I can manage that, plus 5, so 165. And so if we add those up in the normal sensible decimal way, we know how to deal with this. Okay, we get 307 as a decimal, and then we just have to convert that back into hexadecimal. So I'm going to do 307 divided by 16. My calculator tells me that gives me 19, so I'll just find out the remainder. 19 times 16, and I'm doing 307 take away 304, so that's remainder 3. I take the quotient. 19 divided by 16 is 1, remainder 3, and then I take the quotient. 1 divided by 16 is 0, remainder 1, and we read up the way, and we get 133 base 16, which is what we thought we should have.